Major breaking news. At least 27 people have died and dozens more are missing after a catastrophic flood hit Texas. Now, Texas officials have immediately come out and said inaccurate National Weather Service forecasts are to blame for the deadly results in the catastrophic flooding.
Yeah, and where does that come from? They defunded the NOAA to the point that the NOAA pretty much does not exist anymore, right? And that's not even like to get to the point where you're going to have to talk about FEMA. FEMA doesn't exist in any real form anymore. It's being folded into another department. And a lot of people, probably people at least on the right, will say this. They'll say, they didn't get rid of those departments. They just defunded them. They didn't get rid. Those departments still exist. But the point of defunding it in the manner that they've defunded these departments, not in the manner that people were talking about defunding the police, where they were talking about using money to train police officers better or to send out mental health people with police officers to mental health calls. No, the way that they've defunded these departments is by firing everybody that's involved with them, getting rid of anything that they do, and then not offering any type of assistance in operating in states. So a lot of what they're doing with these FEMAs and NOAAs is they're putting the majority of responsibility for, telling people about these emergencies that may happen or, helping people rebuild homes and stuff like that. They're trying to put it on the states, which of course is an incredibly dumb idea, because then why do states like California pay $80 billion more in federal funding to the government if they're not going to get that money back in a way that's used to help the people within California? It doesn't make any sense. And just like everything else that Donald Trump has done so far, it doesn't make any sense. So when he talks about the National Weather Service not being able to give accurate forecasts, and that's why this tragedy happened, really it can be traced directly back to Donald Trump and his administration and their defunding and depleting of the NOAA.
Usually we have mechanisms in place. We have well-funded infrastructure to make sure that people evacuate, to make sure that forecast offices are staffed and the citizens of certain districts or certain states are warned before these catastrophes hit. That is how, over the past few decades, we have achieved a minimization of deaths during catastrophes. Yes, things still happen, floods still happen, and hurricanes happen, but we minimize the deaths through funding very strategic forecast offices.
Yeah, and to his point, think about it this way. When you hear the story of what happened in Texas, and you hear about how many people have died and are affected by it, it's kind of mind-blowing. Because we don't hear about many stories nowadays where that many people die or are put in danger of dying. Because whether or not people believe it or not, and this is something that transcends political alliances, lots of people believe that the government just doesn't do a good job. But the reality of the situation is that a lot of the things that the government does do goes unseen. So just like applications and stuff on your computer, you don't know what your computer does to run well. You just know most of the time it runs well. And when it doesn't run well, you're like, stupid computer, right? You don't realize anything that you've done to mess it up. You don't realize whether or not you're working with data technology. But the government operates in the same way. The USDA makes sure that like food and stuff, the FDA makes sure food and stuff that is served to people is generally safe by having departments that go out and check these things. And make sure that like a restaurant isn't keeping old food in the back and serving it to customers so they end up getting botulism or any type of, foodborne illness. These are things that we take for granted. And we haven't seen a lot of these types of tragedies to the numbers of people that they are predicting may have perished because of this, because a lot of those background applications of the government run without people understanding that they are. And if this is 6 months in and this is a precursor to what is going to happen in the future, things could get a lot worse if we continue to go down these paths.
The point that I want to make here is these forecast offices have been cut.
Shit. Sorry. Kelly, I just read your comment. There's Adam. I always forget to put people up on the scene while I'm ranting.
Relentlessly. For the past 6 months, not only has the National Weather Service been cut.
Yeah, what Skelts just said is the perfect example of what people don't get. And that is government is meant to never be seen. And I have friends that are left-wing people that are like, well, at least Trump's like entertaining. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Are you kidding me? You're not supposed to want the fucking president in your face, in your ears, 24/7. It's like what Skelts said. They're meant to not be seen. You're supposed to wake up every day thinking government is fucking boring. And you don't want shit to do with it. You're just voting for the legislation that you want. You should be like fucking living your day and go, goddamn government, always pissing me off. Like, that's fine. You're not supposed to want an entertaining president. Somebody said this about working on a ship, right? He said he knew somebody that worked in the Merchant Marines, and he said he really looked forward to getting on the boat because he thought, wow, this is going to be cool getting on this boat. And he got on the boat, and it was boring as fuck. You know why it's boring as fuck? Because nothing happened while he was on the boat. You don't want your government to be entertaining. You want it to be boring. Because if it does its job correctly, government is boring. If it does its job incorrectly, then it is fucking crazy. And yes, absurdly, that can be entertaining. You want to be on it. You want to be writing, and you want to be going, wow, this is kind of boring. That's what it's supposed to be. Oh, thank you for the $5. Fancher Death. Thank you. $5. Fancher Death says, idiots who say they don't want government don't understand what it is like to live without a government. Evil has limits. Stupidity knows no bounds. Fancher Death. It is 100%. And that's what I've said, right? Like, when people say... I'm surrounded by semen. God damn it, Jen. When people say Trump is like Hitler, I almost always want to say to people, you're wrong. You know why? Because Hitler was evil. Hitler had a plan. Hitler understood, like intellectually, Hitler knew what he was doing, right? So Hitler is evil as fuck. Terrible human being. But he always knew what he was trying to accomplish, right? And in some ways... we were like, oh, okay, we get where you're going with this, so we're going to try and put a stop to it. Trump is infinitely more capable of doing more damage than even Hitler because of stupidity. Because Donald Trump doesn't really have an idea of why he does what he does. He just does it out of spite. He does it out of anger. He does it out of hate, and he does it out of stupidity. He wakes up in the morning and he sees some CNN reporter saying something he doesn't like, and he says, that person should go to jail. Now, does he have a plan? No, he just doesn't like that person said mean things about him, and so he wants them to go to jail. Now, what are the repercussions of him getting what he wants? Now we don't have a freedom of the press anymore. Now, anybody that speaks out against Donald Trump goes to jail. Now, most of you are going to go, yeah, that's what he wants. Yeah. I don't doubt that once it happens, he's like, oh, actually, this worked out exactly how I would like it to. I don't doubt that. What I doubt is that he's thought that far ahead. I think he sees a person that's speaking badly about him in the press, and he wants them put in prison, and when somebody finally does that for him, and we lose all freedom of the press, he's like, bonus points. Stupidity, 1,000%, can be more damaging than even a person that is evil with a plan.
But sweeping cuts have also affected the NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The moves that have been made have eliminated over 1,000 positions, and we have already heard people complaining that it's understaffed. We've heard people at these offices say, we are understaffed. We have crisis level vacancies, and when tornadoes and hurricanes hit, we are not ready.
And that's across the board. That's not just national emergency people. That is across the board in every portion of our government. I still strongly believe that the idea of this administration is that you can fire people and you can replace them with AI, and that everything, like, people will never notice that anything changed. I feel like we are guinea pigs. We are beta testers. And this government is attempting to cut costs as much as possible to continue to transfer wealth to their ultra wealthy corporation buddies. And it is at the expense of putting something like AI in charge of things like this.
So when flood-prone regions are understaffed, this is what you see. And Elon Musk, the Department of Government Efficiency, Donald Trump, and the current administration are directly to blame. That is not me playing politics or inserting politics.
Directly.
Those are the facts. For months, scientists and meteorologists have said that these drastic and sudden cuts would impact our nation's ability to forecast weather.
Even that one news reporter, the weatherman, got on fucking TV and was like, yeah, the hurricane season is going to be very difficult for him to project accurately without the help. They just shut off 2 satellites, correct? They either shut off or they stopped receiving information from them. The technical term for it is going to be probably wrong, whichever one I use, because I'm not intelligent enough to know what they do with satellites that predict the weather in space. But they shut them off or they stopped receiving information from them. You can't stop receiving information from satellites that track the weather and expect that the people that are down here that are giving that information, disseminating the information, are going to be able to do it accurately. It's fucking idiocracy, man.
And this is what we see.
Oh, thank you for the $2, Fancher Death. Beta testing the worst reality already. I told you guys, they came up with a whole new level of difficulty. It was like easy, story mode, normal, hard, hardcore, and then Trump's America. The Trump's America is the hardest difficulty level I think that has ever been attained.
At least 27 people are dead. This reads, rescuers search for over 25 girls from Texas camp as flooding death toll rises to 27.
Jesus Christ,
this is at the time of recording this video. The death toll is 27.
I did see that 2 girls were found and are being brought to their families. So, thankfully, there's some good news there.
Is absolutely subject to go up throughout the day, so I just want to note that right there. But to continue, officials in Texas are immediately casting blame on the National Weather Service. We can actually watch the video of this happening right here.
The original forecast that we received on Wednesday from the National Weather Service predicted 3 to 6 inches of rain in the Concho Valley and 4 to 8 inches of rain in the Hill Country. We worked with our own meteorologists to fine-tune that weather statement, and as many of you know, and many of you in broadcast journalism and meteorology, you can go back and look at your own forecast, and the amount of rain that fell in this specific location was never in any of those forecasts.
This rain event sat on top of that and dumped more rain than what was forecasted on both of those forks. When we got the report, it was about 7 feet or so on the South Fork, and within a matter of minutes, it was up to 29 feet.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
And all of that converged at the Guadalupe, and that's where we saw those very quick rise in flood.
But listen, everybody got the forecast from the National Weather Service, right? You all got it. You're all in media. You got that forecast. It did not predict the amount of rain that we saw.
It was wrong. They are saying it without saying it, but they are saying the sudden dismantling and cuts of,
Yeah, but they're not saying that. I disagree with Adam here. They're not saying that. They're doing everything they possibly can to not say this is Trump's defunding. They're saying it's the National Weather Service, National Weather Service, National Weather Service. What is the reason for why the National Weather Service got this incorrect? It is the defunding of the National Weather Service and other departments that are affected by that, right? Like, I agree with what Adam's saying is that they are correctly pointing to the National Weather Service as being the problem, but I don't know that these people in any way are, seeing, they're not seeing the forest for the trees. They're just concentrating on the National Weather Service, and the reality is that this is a cascading effect from this administration down to the National Weather Service.
weather balloon networks, of the NOAA, of satellite data and radar maintenance will lead to a degraded accuracy in overall predictions, and it gets even worse. I mean, here's the thing. All of this was preventable. The deaths of these 24 girls from a Texas camp, which is heartbreaking, was preventable. Do you guys remember this clip a few months back?
Oh, this
of
is
a
the guy.
weatherman in
This is the guy I was
Florida
talking about.
saying that he doesn't have the funding or the resources to predict things accurately
This is the weatherman that I was talking about.
anymore. He says this straight up on air. He starts off with a clip of himself from, I think, 5 or 6 years ago, and then he plays a current clip. Just listen to this.
Right? When is it going to turn? John, it's not turning. It's coming straight to us.
Don't worry, guys. Donald Trump will use a Sharpie and he'll change it. He will redirect the hurricane using his magic Sharpie.
This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water.
Fucking genius, guys.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
It's going to turn. All right? The turn was never forecast to be on Sunday. The turn isn't even on Monday morning. The turn will come Monday afternoon, Monday evening, into Tuesday. Remember that? That was about 6 years ago. That was Hurricane Dorian, as it was absolutely devastating the northwest Bahamas as a Category 5, sat over that region for 2 days. It was headed straight west. Lots of people in Florida were concerned the hurricane was heading here. And as you've grown accustomed to my presentations over my 34 years in South Florida newscasts, confidently, I went on TV and I told you, it's going to turn. You don't need to worry. It is going to turn. And I am here to tell you that I am not sure I can do that this year because of the gutting, the sledgehammer attack on science in general, and I could talk about that for a long, long time, and how that is affecting the U.S. Leadership in science over many years, and how we're losing that leadership, and this is a multi-generational impact on science in this country, all right? But specifically, let's talk about the federal government cuts to the National Weather Service and to NOAA. Did you know
There you go.
that Central and South Florida National Weather Service offices are currently basically 20 to 40% understaffed?
Yep.
From Tampa to Key West, including the Miami office, 20 to 40% understaffed. Now, this type of staffing shortage is having impacts across the nation because
It's incredibly dangerous, and there's more to the clip, but this was months ago. This was, we covered this in like March, I want to say, maybe.
And that's the frustrating part. This is what makes people feel like, this is what makes people nihilistic. It's what makes people feel apathetic. It's because we've said all these things. How many times? How many times did we say what Trump would do for deportation? How many times did we say what Trump's policies would do to the middle class, to the impoverished? How many times did we say the attack on DEI wasn't just going to affect black and Mexican and LGBT people, but eventually would find its way into hurting rural communities as well? How many times? How many times have we said that they're going to cut Medicaid and that they're going to fuck with Social Security? How many times have we said these things over and over and over again? And you can take clip after clip after clip from alternative media, left-wing sites like myself, like Adam, like Brian Tyler Cohen, like David Pakman, shit, even TYT. You can take clips from all of these media outlets from months before this that say that these things are going to happen, and then they happen, and then there is no reaction. Not CNN, not MSNBC, not CNBC. No one cares. And that makes us apathetic, and it makes us nihilistic. And you can hear it in this guy's voice, man. Imagine this guy's on fucking Channel 6. Do you think they're kosher with him just like going off for a minute? They're probably like, uh-oh, there goes Brian. Brian's pissed. you think that this guy, like, do you think he's being hyperbolic? Do you think he's being overly emotional? No. He's literally like, he's apathetic. He's nihilistic. He's like, we're kind of fucked. And now how do you think he feels? He's probably sitting at home going, I fucking told you so. I think Kamala Harris feels, I fucking told you so. It's crazy.
April, and what happens is the Trump admin does nothing. They take no steps. Now, Sarah on Twitter wrote, Dear Donald Trump, Texas officials are blaming the National Weather Service for being unprepared for the enormity of the rain and deadly floods that followed. You fired 560 meteorologists so that the rich could get their tax breaks. These deaths are squarely on you. Texas officials provided search and rescue updates Friday on a flash flood that has killed at least 24 people. Now it's 27. And they blame National Weather Service forecasts for not predicting the amount of rain. These deaths are squarely on Donald Trump. I have one simple ask, and then we'll go to the remainder of the video.
He doesn't even know. I guarantee you, if a reporter asked Trump about these deaths, I guarantee there's already a fucking clip of some reporter asking about this happening, and Donald Trump going, what's that? People in Texas? I don't know. What happened in Texas? Flooding? Yeah, that sounds like they have a really bad problem down there. They should do something about that. Yeah. It's all the illegal immigrants. Did you guys know I bombed Iran? Like, that's fucking, I guarantee you what he's doing already. You think this fucker is going to take any accountability for this? Any other president in the history of the United States of America, and this is fucking saying something, George Bush Jr. would come out and go, this is a tragedy. The things that have happened to those people in Texas, who I love. And he fucking ducks as his shoe comes. Yeah. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. That's what George Bush would do. Obama, look, what happened to those people is a tragedy. Fucking Bill Clinton. Oh, you know, what happened between Monica and me. Oh, Texas? Yeah, Texas. That's a tragedy. Every one of them. Every fucking president would be out fucking going, this is a tragedy. It doesn't matter if you're left. It doesn't matter if you're right. We all need to bond together and have unity and community because that's what America's about. These people that are missing, we hope that they will be found and that their families, they'll be reunited with their families. Every fucking president would say that. Trump probably won't even know until some reporter tells him. Texas? What happened in Texas?
Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you drop some blue hearts or prayer symbols or whatever for the people affected. But
Lynn.
Obama. I want to make sure this video hits people's feeds. J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, all of these people are trying to dominate the narrative already. They're already saying that this was caused by some sort of like wokeness or the last administration.
Damn wokeness causing flooding. Okay, hold on. How long, guys? Trump will head to Texas and throw paper towels and ask whose boat is this boat. Yes. 5 alarm. You are not fucking wrong. Oh. Oh, no. How long, guys? You almost threw me off with that 5 alarm. I almost lost it. How long until this starts getting blamed on gay people? How long until we make a full 180, go all the way back to fucking before the 1800s? How long until MAGA starts blaming floods killing people on gay sex? How long, guys? I give it 2 months. I give it 2 months until fucking Donald Trump's got some batshit crazy evangelicist up on stage telling America, like Greg Locke or some shit like that, telling America that the reason that the country is falling apart is because gay people are loving the person that they love.
Or they never could have seen this coming. No, they could have seen this coming. Experts kept saying this exact thing. If you diminish your input data, if you stop funding things and you have terrible, terrible data about forecasts, the quality of your forecast will degrade to such a degree that the public will be in danger as if we live in 1890 and we're all blind to any sort of weather catastrophe that is coming. The video that I'm about to play is heartbreaking, genuinely heartbreaking. I'll play parts of it so that YouTube doesn't strike this video down. But this says, this is a nightmare. This lady and her bedridden husband are in a flooded home in Texas, and nobody is coming to help them. Look at this.
Okay, my house is flooding. Anybody out there?
Oh my God.
I have my dad on hospice and I need to get him out of here. He's bedridden. He can't walk. He can hardly move. And look where the water is.
Oh my God.
So somebody please, we've called 911. It's bad over here. In front of the house, it's like a river. I mean, it's like a lake.
Oh man, there's kids there.
They can't come look. We've lost our cars, everything.
And kids need to fucking lift his ass up.
That is one of the scariest, most nightmare situations
jokes,
possible.
Just saying.
And again, this was all easily preventable. It's not even about numbers or budgets. It's about real people.
Yeah, people. It's about people. Oh, Fantra Death. Thank you for the $5. I was busily watching somebody fucking... Oh, my God. Anyways... Thank you for the $5. Jewish space lasers caused a hurricane right before the election, remember? Yes, I remember. I didn't think it was Jewish space lasers. I thought it was AOC as a weather witch. I thought she stood out on the cliffs of Capitola and used her woke wizard abilities to conjure the hurricane like Mickey Mouse in Fantasia. I thought that's what it was. That's what I thought.
Families in Texas and Oklahoma and across the nation, of course, but this is happening right now, particularly in Texas and states around. These families depend on timely, accurate warnings to make life or death decisions in the moment for their family members, for their animals. And when the NWS is forced to operate with skeleton crews or no crews at all and radar systems go down, that is Donald Trump's fault. Donald Trump is putting more Americans at risk, more lives at risk, communities at risk, and all to fund tax cuts for the rich. Here's the thing. You want to look at it through a return on investment. I say this over and over, but when we send $58 billion to U.S. aid, and in return, we save hundreds of billions of dollars in disease prevention that we would have to do down the road, it is totally worth it. So let's call it what this is. This is a deliberate assault on the public good, orchestrated by a Republican administration which calls it efficiency, but it's actually all coming at the expense of public safety. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, all the people around them have gutted the very agencies that stand between us and nature's fury. They fired scientists, slashed research. For what? For I don't know, tax cuts for Elon Musk? It's terrible. How many more people are going to die before we say the Trump administration needs to go? The National Weather Service needs to be funded, not streamlined or whatever. The party that claims to protect Americans with law and order doesn't like order. When disaster strikes, where are they? They're gone. That's it. I'm going to leave it there. Drop a like, subscribe. Make sure to follow me across social medias below. We have a newsletter on Substack. It's great. We are starting live streams soon. So if you're not subscribed, you're going to be missing the live streams, the fun live streams. I have Instagram. Join the Reddit. I'll see you all in the next video.
Yep. Well, that's that. I mean, these people, this is what they voted for. This is what they voted for. And it's fucking sad because, like I said, when you talk about the left versus right argument, the worst case scenario of what the left believes is that transgender people should be treated well, that regardless of ethnicity, you should be treated well, regardless of sexual orientation, you should be treated well, that everybody should have affordable health care, that the minimum wage should be enough to help you pay your rent and have food, and that social safety nets should exist for everybody in case they have a bad portion of their life. That's the worst case scenario, is that the left wants you, regardless of your political affiliation, whether you're a MAGA or a conservative or a libertarian or a Democrat, to have basic human rights. And on the right, the worst case scenario is what we're currently dealing with, and that is a group of people that are so selfish that they think one day they might be part of the ultra wealthy conglomeration of conservatives. And so they'll take rights away from themselves to take them away from others. That's fucking insanity. To think that, like I said, if you're thinking about it from a Trump supporter's point of view, every day you get up, let's say every day you get up and you go work in a warehouse. Every day you get up and go work in a warehouse. And I were to ask you, I would say, do you like your job? Like, no. Okay, so why don't you like your job? Well, I hate that, like so much of my money goes to pay for all these social safety nets for homeless people and welfare state and all these other people, right? And you're like, oh, okay. So you think if we defund welfare, if we defund, SNAP and Medicare and all these things, will you like your job more then? Because I don't think the answer is yes. I think you don't like your job for a different reason. I think you don't like your job because you don't feel valued and appreciated. And I think that this is something that everybody kind of struggles with. And that is taking themselves out of their own shoes just for a moment and looking at their life from a different perspective. And that is the real thing that most of us are unhappy with, is that we don't have real purpose to our lives anymore. And there's a really good purpose, like staring you right in your face, right? And that purpose is to help the people around you. That purpose is to find unity in community. To say to each other that together we can make this place better and make it a more enjoyable life experience. Because I don't think when you go to work and you're working at your warehouse job, that having to pay a little bit less in taxes is really going to make you that much happier. I don't think getting the illegals out of the country is going to change anything to do with your lifestyle. Because you can ask any one of these people, go, okay, so how many times have you been victims of crimes that have been, directly committed by illegal immigrants on yourself? Most of them are going to say no. None. Zero. It's never happened. Well, you don't understand, bro. Like, because my tax money has to go to pay for these things. Oh, okay. So life's going to get better when your tax money doesn't pay for those things? Like, if you ask any of these people, they say, transgenders are grooming children. Oh, okay. So you know some children that have been affected by this? Well, no. Most of the things that these people talk about, they've never been affected by. These people have never thought more about the things they believe than what they are told. They're told to hate people. They're told to be scared. They're told to live in fear. And so they do that. They don't think one more step past that. They don't think the reason that I don't want to wake up and go to my job today is because we live in a system that currently devalues the producer. They don't think about the fact that they are no longer even a producer anymore. They're strictly seen as a consumer. The only real value of American citizenry anymore to the government, and especially to people like Donald Trump and his tech billionaire friends, is that they buy stuff. The fact that you produce stuff is a byproduct of that. It's part of the wheel, the cycle. You have to get up and go to work so that way you can come home to barely afford to pay your rent, to barely be able to afford groceries, to sit in your house for a couple hours at the end of your day, hopefully getting to enjoy some air conditioning or heat during the winter, maybe not if you don't make enough money, just to go to sleep so you can wake up and go back to work the next day so you make enough money to start the cycle all over again. You're a slave to consumerism, and the day that you stop buying things is the day that this country doesn't need you anymore. That's why you're unhappy when you wake up every day and go to work. That's why. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and check out that video on the screen now.